Hello everyone. In this session we are going to learn about solving quadratic equations. For that, let us jump into the equation directly. I'm writing an equation that we will solve it by the method of factorization. To solve any quadratic equation, we have a few methods. Either you can use factorization, or you can use the completing square method, or you can use the quadratic formula. Okay, so let us first start with the factorization method. Let us take one basic example: x square plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Now a quadratic equation is an equation which has the highest power of 2, or the degree of the equation as 2. That is a quadratic equation. If the highest power or the degree of a polynomial is 1, that is a linear polynomial, linear equation. And if the highest power or the degree of a polynomial is 3, then it is known as a cubic polynomial. We are dealing with quadratic, so the highest power of the equation will be 2. Now to solve it by the method of factorization. Okay, one more thing before that. The general formula to write the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, where a, b and c are any numbers. That can be any number, positive, negative, that can be any number, and the x is the variable that is unknown, variable the value of which is not known, and c is also known as the constant, the value of which does not change. And the a, b and c are also known as coefficient because they are with the x square, and with the x they are also known as coefficient. So these were the basics of a quadratic equation. A and b, a is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x, c is known as a constant, where a, b and c can be any numbers, and x is the unknown. And one condition necessary is that a cannot be equal to 0. Okay, so these are the basics of a quadratic equation. Now let us solve this equation that we were dealing. X square plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Let us try to solve it by the method of factorization. Okay, if there is nothing in the coefficient of x square, there is always a 1 in multiplication. Method of factorization is you have to take the product of the first term and the last term, that is 1 multiplied by 6, that is equal to what? 6. You have to take the product of the first term and the last term, and then find the factors of that multiplication, that product, such that when you add those numbers, add those factors, you get the term that is in the middle. You get 5. So you have to take the product of the first term and the last term in such a way that the factors of it will add up to the middle term. That is why this method is also known as splitting the middle term. Okay, this is an easy example. So the factors of 6 that add up to 5 will be 2 and 3, right? So we can write the next step like this. X square, I'm not writing the 1 here, x square plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 equals to 0. Instead of 5x, now we have written 2 and 3. That is how we have split the middle term. Got it? Now, from the first two terms, you have to take out something common. X square and 2x, there is only an x that can be taken out as common. From x square, you take out one x as common, so x remains. There is a plus sign in between, so plus, and from 2x you take out x common, so only 2 remains. Now, without thinking about anything, you have to write this same bracket again over here. So I'm writing it directly, x plus 2, closing it, equal to 0. Now I will move to the previous step and look at the term over here. There is a 3x, and in the bracket I have already written an x. So what is remaining now? Only a 3. So I will write a 3 with a plus sign here, plus 3, like this. Now if you want to verify, you can just cross verify it. 3 into x will give me 3x, and 3 into 2 will give me a 6. Verified, so we are good to go. Okay, so now moving on to the next step. After taking out the common, let us say the common bracket x plus 2 one time, x plus 2, and the remaining part, that is x and plus 3, in the second bracket, x plus 3 equals to 0. Fine. These are the factors now. X plus 2 and x plus 3 are the factors of the given equation. If you want to still find the roots or the solution of this equation, then you have to go one more step further. Let us see that also. X plus 2 and x plus 3. Either x plus 2 can be equal to 0 or x plus 3 can be equal to 0. Now if x plus 2 equals to 0, then what will be the solution? And if x plus 3 equals to 0, then what will be the solution? Plus 2 goes on that side, x will be equal to minus 2, or x can be equal to minus 3. These are the solution of the given equation. Right? This is how you solve it by the method of factorization, and that is also known as the method of splitting the middle term. We will talk about the completing square method in a different video in the next session. You can practice a few more quadratic equations. I'll give you the examples, give you the sums for practice at the end of the video. Let us take one more example and solve it. Let us take an equation x square plus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Now this equation has a minus term in the constant, so we have to be a little bit careful now. The first step is to take the product of the first term and the last term, 1 multiplied by minus 3. If there is nothing in the coefficient, there is always a 1 in multiplication. So 1 multiplied by minus 3, it will be equal to minus 3. Now you have to find the factors of minus 3 in such a way that if you add those numbers, you get the term that is in the middle, that is plus 2. Okay, so find the factors of 3 in such a way to get the middle term. Now as 3 is a prime number, there are only two factors possible, that is 1 or 3. Right, you can either find the factors as 1 or 3. Now there is a confusion about the sign, which sign to take for the middle term. Either 1 and 3 can be positive, either both the numbers can be negative, or 1 positive, 3 negative, or 1 negative and 3 positive. There are only 4 options possible, right? Let us see which option to take. If both the signs are same, you add the numbers and place the same sign. If both the numbers are same, you add the numbers and place the same sign. If both the numbers are different, you subtract the numbers and place the greater sign. If both the signs are different, you subtract the values and take the bigger sign. Which sign do we require over here? Plus 2. So this is the option that we will go with, which minus 1 and plus 3. Okay, so the next step of this equation will be this: x square minus 1x plus 3x minus 3 equals to 0. This will be the next step now. So what have we done? We have just split the middle term like this. 2x has been split into minus 1x plus 3x. Now the next step, taking out common from the first two terms. You can take x common. So what will be the remaining term? It will be x. There is a minus sign, so minus. And from 1x, if you take out 1 as a common, x as a common, you are left with only 1. Without thinking anything, you have to write the same bracket over here. So let me write x minus 1 equals to 0. Now looking at the previous step, out of this plus 3x, I have already taken an x common. What will be the remaining term? It will be plus 3. So I'm writing a plus 3 over here. Let us just verify for our satisfaction. 3 into x, that is equal to 3x, done. then 3 into minus 1, that is equal to minus 3. Done. So we are good to go now. The next step, whatever is in common brackets, x minus 1, that bracket one time, x minus 1, and whatever is remaining, that is x and plus 3 in the second bracket, x plus 3 equals to 0. These are the factors of the given equation. Now if you want to find the solution or the roots, then you have to go one step further. You have to compare the values with the RHS, that is 0. Either x minus 1 can be equal to 0 or x plus 3 can be equal to 0. Now what if x minus 1 equals to 0, and what if x plus 3 equals to 0? Minus 1 goes on that side, so x will be equal to 1. If you do not write this plus sign, then also it's okay. And if plus 3 goes on that side, x will be equal to minus 3. These are the solution or the roots of the given equation. This is the method of factorization and the splitting of middle term. Practice more with the sums that I am attaching here, and we will solve the sums by completing the square method in the next session. Thank you.